We stand. Yes. We love the Queen of Sliced Bread for sure.
Hello guys, welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and once again I brought back fan favorite Drew. How you doing?
Hi. Welcome back. I'm
Well,
excited to be back again.
I know it's been a tough week for you.
We're good. I got my appendix taken out a few days ago. Ready for another video with you. Super excited for this one. Let's go.
Getting inspired by Team Beckstream, I guess that's what fans call it now, Becky and Lita winning the tag titles not long ago, we decided to talk about the 10 most shocking or surprise title changes we've got in the women's division. Okay, so without anything left to say, let's start with the video.
Starting off with our list, a top 10 countdown. Our number 10 pick that we chose was more recent, of course, and on Raw. I'm sure we've all seen what's happening with Becky and where the tag division's happening right now. So it's Becky and Lita defeating Damage Control for the tag team champions.
The only reason why I think it is shocking is not because Lita or Becky are underdogs by any means. It's just WWE has never given the chance to a women's legend to come back to win a title, unlike on the men's division. So it was shocking.
Yeah, I was so excited for Lita. Like, it was so unexpected. Obviously, having Trish kind of like put in the segment as well was just really cool. It's really special to see. I'm super excited for what this means for WrestleMania for them. Yeah, I'm really excited for Lita. This is so awesome.
I think Lita deserves it considering the way that they did her dirty during her retirement match.
Sure.
And unlike Trish, she didn't have like this very good feel happy ending moment. So she deserves to have this last run. Everybody expected, I was one of them actually, that this match would end in disqualification and then Trish would come out to even the odds. Nobody expected really Becky and Lita to win prior to that match. So I would say thumbs up.
Yeah, for sure. And I know Damage Control's reign has been a little bit questionable. I mean, what tag team reign hasn't been questionable at this point? But I think it's good for them to, obviously pass the torch. They've been champions for a while now. So I think that's cool to just spice it up and just to do a little bit something different with the tag division right now.
I don't want to be a party pooper, but I feel like Damage Control has run its course. And it's so sad because they never got the chance to do much. But that's probably for another video. Let's go back into the topic, and that's why we're moving to number 9, and that is another tag team title change. Raquel and Aliyah, the Beauty and the Beast.
Was it Bougie and the Beast? Or?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was Bougie. It was not.
Okay, yeah.
But she's beautiful though.
I definitely love the underdog character that Aliyah has, and it was really cool seeing them win. Obviously, she pinned the wrong person who wasn't legal. I still don't know about that kind of spot, if it was a botch or not. I think it was planned, but I do think it was really weird that they won that tag tournament at the time. Obviously, after Sasha and Naomi had left, they held the tournament, and I was just kind of shocked that they won because that was when Damage Control sort of was introduced. So I was very shocked to see that Aliyah and Raquel beat them. Very random to me. I mean, I didn't hate at all, but very random for sure.
Yeah, I think what WWE has done a lot with the women's division recently is going for that shocking or surprise factor pop. Everybody expected Damage Control to win because they were the only legit team there. So they gave us this moment where Aliyah and Raquel won just to get the pop. But there were no really plans for them to be like a long-term tag team champ.
I know she hasn't been around for a while, but I definitely want to see Aliyah back sometime soon. Because I like Aliyah. I love Aliyah. I want to see her back.
Surprisingly, the chemistry between Aliyah and Raquel was nice. Like, she was the powerhouse against a more flashy competitor like Aliyah. So they kind of meshed together well. I wouldn't be mad if Aliyah returns to be paired up with Raquel again. But I mean, knowing WWE and the lack of importance they give the tag team division, I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah. Moving on to number 8, we have Nikki Bella defeating AJ Lee for the Divas Championship. You have a lot of opinions about this one, do you?
Yeah, I do. Survivor Series 2014 definitely was one of the worst pay-per-views I've seen for women in general. I'm going to be objective. The problem was the way Nikki won the title. AJ Lee was probably one of the biggest stars in the women's division for a couple of years. Then Nikki Bella was a growing star. She was actually becoming like the big deal. And they cannot have like a real blown up Divas Championship match. And that's what you give us in a pay-per-view. I think it was just shocking because of the way it happened. And I don't think anybody expected Nikki to actually defeat AJ like that.
It was just such a weird time. That whole area, like right before the Divas revolution, there was just so many things that were just like slap in the faces to just like the Divas, and it was just like kind of crappy. But so I definitely agree with like kind of like with how you feel.
What shocked me the most was actually not even Nikki doing the cheating herself. So using Brie, and Brie was technically forgiving Nikki for everything that she has done with absolutely no explanation given. So it was all shocking, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
I still believe that they could have done so much more with this riot. So moving to number 7, we're going to talk about a shocker that was actually a positive one. It was kind of refreshing. And that is on Raw 2003. Gail Kim winning the Women's Championship in a Battle Royal in her debut match. I was gagging.
Yeah, we had to throw in a throwback in this list for sure. Like that character is just so different than like who she is. It's just
it feels like they're two different people now, right?
Yeah, completely different. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool to see somebody win on her first match. Obviously, I know she's done interviews talking about it, talking about how like terrified she was. And
I'm still wondering to this day, what was WWE's creative team thinking to let actually the rookie win the title that night, considering there were people like Trish Stratus, Victoria, and I believe even Molly Holly involved in that match. I mean, maybe like a shocking thing that they wanted to do and they succeeded. I feel like something they wouldn't do now, but back then was even more shocking because of how little opportunities women actually got. And to be a newcomer and become the champ, it was just mind-blowing.
I just hated the way that Gail Kim was treated in WWE. I think she deserves so much better, especially her second go-round for sure. She's so talented, but obviously she's the queen of TNA. So
it is such a shame that actually mentioned in this title win is the only accolade Gail Kim achieved in WWE. So it was her first night, and then it went downhill.
Next on our list, we have an NXT TakeOver for Brooklyn match. Kairi defeating Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. So cool. She's like the cutest babyface ever. I love Kairi. Her pirate gimmick made no sense, but in the best way. It was so awesome. She had the persona. She was awesome, and her aesthetic and everything in the ring was just great. I just loved that she was just such a babyface defeating such a monstrous Shayna at the time. And just like the getaway pin that she did, winning the championship was just like awesome.
What made this so memorable is the fact that, like as you mentioned, Shayna Baszler was a monster heel back then. She literally cleared out the entire NXT women's locker room. She looked unbeatable at times, and Shayna Baszler already defeated Kairi, but she kept coming back. So it was so good to see her outsmart Shayna and defeat her while Shayna was locking in the Kirifuda clutch, because at the time, not like today, nobody actually kicked out or escaped from the submission hold. I don't know, it was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I wouldn't say Kairi had the best NXT championship run, but anyways, this is one for the history books.
I hate that we never got to see her versus Asuka. Like, maybe one day, I can only hope, but I just know that that would be an insane match. That definitely is a dream match.
Time will tell. So at number 5, we're going to have a 2-for-1 special because we've got Jillian Hall winning the Divas Championship from Mickie James, and right after that match, Melina winning the Divas Championship from Jill. First time ever we got 2 title changes on the same night. No disrespect to Jillian, because she was like a great athlete, but WWE never took her seriously. So winning the title from Mickie James, who at the time was one of the most popular divas and probably the face of the women's division, was something that absolutely anyone expected. When I rewatched that match, and you can like zoom in on the faces, people in the crowd, like everybody was shocked.
happy for Jillian to have a championship
True.
in part of her resume, part of her history. We love the Queen of Sliced Bread. Definitely, obviously, a comedy spot, obviously, for when Melina came back to defeat her for it. And just the look on Jillian's face after was so real. She just looked so heartbroken, and it was just so sad. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them have a feud. I believe they did, but the matches were really short and it didn't feel like something special. So I'm not sure if the chemistry was not there or they weren't given enough time, or I don't know what was it, but the feud wasn't it.
I mean, I just love that Jillian's like a fan favorite over time. Her character definitely lives on as like one of the best comedy characters. And I'm glad that we got to see her at the Rumble, and I'm glad that she's definitely not forgotten.
Kudos to her.
As our number 4 spot, the Iconics winning at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Champions. This was a moment where definitely I felt like it could have gone to anybody. It felt so right for them to win that match. I hated the reign. I felt so bad for them because that was definitely the beginning of when the tag team division started to just get so mistreated. Regardless of that night, like that definitely was the highlight of their entire career. I know they've talked about it before. Like you could just tell like that meant so much to them. And it was just so awesome to see.
And to add up, the reception they got after winning the belts was amazing. Like people were actually chanting, rooting for them, which was a bit surprising, not because the Iconics were not popular, but I feel like the star power other women in the match hold was a lot bigger. I mean, we're talking about Sasha and Bailey, Beth Phoenix, even at the time Nia Jax. And not gonna lie, I really thought the Iconics were only fillers for this match, and they end up winning the whole damn thing. So I mean, I was very surprised, but at the same time pleased to see them because they were a real tag team.
I did love to see like that match. At least I hated that their reign was just so tainted.
Yeah, and it is uncalled for that they were champions for like over 3 months, and they never really got a title defense at the pay-per-view. So we move to number 3, and we've got one that I know you're dying to talk about, and that is Charlotte Flair defeating Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship without any reason.
I forget. I think it's like one of the most disliked videos on like the WWE channel, if I remember. Obviously, we all know Charlotte's going to win champions. We all know Charlotte's going to be a 16-time champion, if not longer, more than that. But I just hated the way that Asuka was done. I hated the way that the SmackDown women were done for WrestleMania. Like, what was the point in her winning? I don't know. I just hated that moment.
The only way they could have made this match feel right is if Asuka was actually added to the main event and turned it into a fatal 4-way. But that did not happen. I feel like it was pointless, like you said.
Yeah.
And it is such an upsetting thing because if you remember, like a lot of people were thrown off and mostly remember the result, but the match itself was top notch. It was, for me, even better than the WrestleMania match they had the year prior, but nobody remembers that just because of Charlotte taking the title away from Asuka out of nowhere.
It's just a slap in the face, like I said, to Asuka, and I'm glad that she's able to, you know, gain her star power back, and she's going to be fighting Bianca this year, and I definitely want to see her character keep developing.
She deserves the victory because she was Sasha Banks 2.0, losing all of her WrestleMania matches, just saying.
Yep, for sure. I agree. All right, so number 2, we have Liv Morgan defeating Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Champion, Money in the Bank 2022.
Considering we have Money in the Bank involved here, it shouldn't be as surprising, but it was hella surprising. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Liv Morgan cashing in on Ronda probably is the last thing anyone expected. Like, it was ludicrous to think that she was actually gonna win the title from Ronda.
It just felt so good. Like, and it was so beyond well-deserved at this point. After everything that she had done, the fans are so behind her. And I think that, you know, maybe the wait was a good thing for her because she really got to solidify herself that night. And it just meant so much more because everyone knew that she deserved it. And her defeating Ronda, obviously the ankle lock, we were all scared for a split second, holding our breath. And when she finally hit the pen, it was just like, finally. I think I like literally got emotional watching it. It was just so great. I was like so happy for her.
I've been a bit tired that usually Money in the Bank holders in the women's division don't have these lengthy periods of time with the briefcase. But in this case, I wasn't mad at all. I feel like it made sense. Ronda was sort of wounded after her match with Natalia. So Liv capitalizing made a lot of sense because Liv was not winning against Ronda like fair and square.
Yeah, for sure.
So I am glad that Liv Morgan actually had this opportunity. And like you said, this Money in the Bank pay-per-view solidified Liv Morgan as a top dog of the women's division. So before we go to our #1 spot, we have decided to mention one runner-up. It was like an amazing moment, but it didn't quite make it to the list.
For our runner-up, we are mentioning when Mickie James defeated Beth Phoenix, rolled her up, and won the women's championship finally after losing match after match after match.
It actually felt like a house show at times, because they were repeating the same match with the same result. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, they go overseas to London in the UK, and Mickie James actually wins the title. Like, that was amazing.
Our #1 spot, do you want to take it away?
So our #1 spot probably is something that not many people, all people remember, because we're talking about Paige's debut match, the Raw after WrestleMania 30, winning the Divas Championship from AJ Lee. Paige was, if I'm not mistaken, the first woman that was brought from NXT who actually won a championship on the main roster. Like, she did it out of nowhere. AJ has just defeated the whole locker room the night before at WrestleMania, and nobody really expected a nobody, not because Paige was not a good wrestler, but back then people didn't really watch NXT like they do nowadays. Seeing this girl come to the main roster and win the title with just one move, I felt like, I don't know, like I was so blown away.
I think it's definitely deserving of the #1 spot because of just like, that just made history. I feel like that really did spark such a big change for like the whole women's locker room. Paige was deserving of it, even if it was her first night. You know, obviously that was such a big moment.
AJ just defeated everyone, so who was credible enough to actually take the title from her? They needed to bring someone new and fresh, and Paige was exactly that. She was the breath of fresh air that the Divas division needed at the time. So Paige definitely made history and will always be remembered as the first woman to come from NXT and win the Divas Championship. Paige was just amazing, and I am really happy for her, so kudos to her. Alright, so this was our video of 10 shocking title changes in the women's division history. Like I said at the beginning of the video, please let us know what you think about our list, and if we missed any match, let us know down below.
I think there's still so many more too that would be cool to talk about. It was so hard to narrow down to 10.
It was.
I mean, I would definitely love to hear other people's opinions in the comments for sure.
Thank you, Drew, so much for helping me doing this video again. I know it's been a rough week for you, so I really appreciate that you're still here.
Yeah, I love filming with you. I'm super happy to be back, so it's a good time. Thanks for having me again. You can follow me at ML7Drew on Instagram. That is my Instagram handle.
And I'm gonna leave it down below, as well as my Instagram, and I will see you guys next time. Please stay safe and don't fuck it up. Goodbye.